We currently live in the most happiest and most comfortable time in history. We have food delivered to our doors, entertainment in our pockets, and endless comfort. But for some reason, most people feel anxious and even depressed. And the problem is the modern day happiness trap. We are all chasing happiness, but the more we chase it, the further it runs. In this video, I want to break down why modern life feels so fake, why the things that make us happy are actually keeping us miserable. And I'll also explain what real happiness actually looks like. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the illusion of happiness. If you look anywhere online, everyone just seems happy. It's just like a whole highlight reel of just pure happiness. Well, it's actually not that pure though. I mean, think about it. Like, think about clicking on your friends' stories, right? They all look happy. But the second the camera shuts off, their face, like their smile just drops instantly. And they're back to being depressed, just like you are. But you don't see that, so that just makes you feel even more depressed. Because you see people out there having all this fun or, you know, enjoying their life and all these good things happening to them. And then you start comparing yourself and you're like, dude, why can't I just be happy? Why can't I do fun things like them? Why does life have to punch me around? Why do they not punch them around? And then before you know it, you're just lost in this world where you're never happy and everyone else around you is just really happy. That's just not true at all. Someone who is truly happy does not have to show it off. It's the same thing with money. The rich never, I mean, a lot of them do, but that's just, you know, based off of insecurities. But real, true, wealthy and rich people, they don't need to show anything off. They probably drive a beat up car still. They wear the same clothes every day. They don't flex and they don't buy, you know, $1 million handbags or whatever. Like, that's how you know someone is truly rich. Not someone who's trying to act rich, because that's what keeps you broke. It's the same thing with happiness. If you're trying to act happy and, you know, show off all these things on, you know, your Instagram or whatever, that's just keeping you miserable. So yeah, just keep that in mind. All right, now my second point is the void of consumerism. This is probably the most common modern day trap that anyone can fall into. I mean, oh, it is just crazy. People just buy things like for no reason at all. New clothes, even though they have a whole wardrobe of clothes. New tech, even though their phone works perfectly fine. Cars, your car was taking you to and from work every day. Like, you don't need a new fancy car. It is just so bad. And then you got food as well, like consuming McDonald's and all these things. Consumerism is at an all-time high. And I honestly, personally, I just cannot understand why. Like, it's not even, I mean, I guess I can see why, but it's like, dude, if you can somehow get yourself out of this trap or like numb yourself to the point where you physically cannot enter the trap, you are going to be way ahead in life. Like, it is actually just crazy. I mean, we're getting shoved ads down our throats everywhere we go. We open our phone, ad. We look outside, there's an ad. Turn on the TV, there's an ad. Your phones are even spying on you. I don't know if this is true, but like the tracker, you know, the cookies and all that, that's all true. But like, if you say something like dog, the next thing you open your phone, you see an ad of a dog. Like, it's just crazy. It's such an easy trap to get into, and before you know it, you'll be buying a bunch of meaningless things, all because you're just controlled pretty much. So yeah, avoiding that trap, and like, I think the way to just avoid the trap is to realize that the trap is there in the first place, because it's like, it's pretty much a mouse trap, right? All the consumers are just scurrying around, they're running around trying to find cheese. They see cheese, it's in a mouse trap. They eat the cheese, they get trapped. But then they just keep on doing it, even though they know that they're getting trapped, right? But if you're a mouse and you see that there's a trap there and you know you're gonna get trapped and it's gonna hurt, you're not gonna eat the cheese. No matter how big, no matter how juicy that bite of cheese looks, you are not going to go for the cheese because you actually see that there's a trap there. Okay, now the next modern day trap that I want to talk about is just dopamine overload. We are just completely flooded with dopamine and instant gratification. There's things out there that fit our biological needs, like porn. You can get it in an instant, and food as well. With just a click of a button on your phone, you can get a savory, fatty food that'll give you so much dopamine. You don't actually have to go out there and hunt for the animal and then cook it and all that. You just click on your phone, deliver it, and then just eat it like instantly. Like, it is just insane. Our dopamine receptors are just getting bombarded and they just don't know what to do. Most people are just depleting their dopamine from doing all of these bad habits, and it's completely ruining them. The best way to get your dopamine is from long-term gratification, where you actually have to work towards something. So for example, if you want to eat, instead of ordering the food, go ahead and cook it. You know, another great way to get dopamine is by working out every single day and then seeing your long-term, like seeing your physique change after like 6 months to a year. That is very good dopamine. Nothing can beat that, honestly. Another way to get dopamine is by doing hard and meaningful work. So if you have some sort of like YouTube channel or some book that you want to write, working on that and then actually finishing it, when you're finished, you'll get so much dopamine. It is crazy. But the thing is, you won't get the dopamine straight away, which is why so many people just opt out of all that. They want the dopamine now. They want it instantly. So they open up TikTok and just scroll for hours. They've got all this dopamine, and then after that, they just crash. They're at a peak, and then it just plummets to the ground, and then they feel like crap. The opposite is true if you go for the long-term gratification. Your dopamine will start at the floor, and it'll stay there for a very long time, and you'll feel unmotivated. You're not going to feel very happy. But then once you're actually done, your dopamine will skyrocket, not to a crazy amount. Like, you're not going to be overloaded with dopamine, but to like a healthy amount. It'll skyrocket to a healthy amount, and it will stay there for a little bit. And instead of just crashing to the ground, kind of like, think about stocks, right? It'll slowly trickle down. It's not going to crash. Like, you're not going to get rugged, right? That's what instant gratification is. You're getting rugged at the end, but it'll just slowly crumble down and return back to base. But if you go the instant gratification route, you'll go below baseline. Like, you're losing everything. So yeah, that is another common problem in the modern day world. Just dopamine overload. It is crazy. So yeah, all these short-term pleasures, all this comfort, all this consuming, every single one of these things that I've mentioned lead to long-term damage. And that's the problem. Many people don't think long-term. They're just like worried about what's happening right now. And because of that, they actually don't realize the damage that's occurring. Like, if they zoom out and actually look at the long-term damage that not exercising has done for them, like, they might see it sort of like in the present moment, but long-term, they don't see themselves when they're like 80 years old and they can't move without having a carer. They don't see that, right? And they can't really imagine it. So you always gotta have the long-term mindset. And this can apply to literally anything. So imagine someone who's eating very unhealthy, right? They might not feel, because they're used to it, they might not feel sick straight away. Well, they're definitely not going to feel sick. The only thing that they feel is the good feelings of eating McDonald's, eating KFC, all the dopamine they're getting. That is what they're feeling right now. But if you zoom out and look at the long term, when they've got diabetes, cancer, whatever it is, that's when it becomes a problem. But they just can't see the long term effects of things. Sometimes they might acknowledge it, like, yeah, okay, I might get sick later on if I eat this. Like, yeah, okay, I might get a heart attack when I'm 50 years old if I eat this. But it's whatever, right? Like, they're not really wired. Like, they don't really care about the future. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm honestly waffling, but hopefully you guys understand what the point that I'm trying to like give. So what are some real sources of happiness? I've discussed everything that is like completely holding you back. What are some real sources of happiness? So happiness actually comes from progression, purpose, and connection, not consumption. You need to be creating. You need to find your purpose, create and progress towards it, whilst building meaningful connections, or, you know, maintaining the connections that you have with your family and all that. You don't want to be consuming, and most importantly, you don't want it to be easy. It needs to be hard. Ever since life got easier, mental health issues have skyrocketed. And because everyone's all depressed, they think that the problem of their depression is because they're sad or they're unhappy. So they end up chasing happiness, but that just completely destroys them even more. So you don't want to be chasing happiness. You want to be chasing long-term gratification. It's never about feeling happy in the short term, because the happiest people on this earth are not happy right now at all. They are happy in the future, if that makes sense. So next time you reach for your phone or your wallet, ask yourself, is this going to make me happy, or is this going to just destroy me in the long term and keep me depressed forever? If you found this video helpful, make sure to chuck a like and subscribe. I post videos like these every single week in hopes to change people's lives. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.